In last video, we have discussed about Ketu in the second house and Rahu in the 8th house of the horoscope. In this video, we are going to learn about what happens when you have Rahu into the 3rd house and Ketu into the 9th house of the horoscope. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Vedic Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahazani. Rahu into the 3rd house and Ketu into the 9th house. Before we talk about this, what is 3rd house? 3rd house is the house of self-effort, is the house of hard work, courage. 3rd house also signifies your communication, younger siblings, return communication, media, and short distance travel as well. 3rd house has the energy of the dual signs. In natural horoscope, that is in Aries ascendant, 3rd house is the first house which has the dual sign. First house is the cardinal house 1, 4, 7, 10, the first house. Second house is the fixed house, and the 3rd house is the house which is dual in nature. And what is this duality is all about? This duality is this dual house has the fixed nature of the second house, and it allows for certain arrangements and adjustments to move to the next cardinal houses. If you look at the dual signs 3, 6 and 12 and 9, these 4 houses and rashis are just before the Kendra houses. We have cardinal houses which brings in the movement as 1, 4, 7, 10. And what are the dual signs? 3, which is prior to the 4th, 6, which is prior to the 7th, Sagittarius 9th, which is prior to the 10th, and Pisces, which is prior to the 1st house. So 3, 6, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12 houses, rashis are the mediators between the fixed rashis, fixed houses, and between the next cardinal house. The idea which is initiated at the Aries or the 1st house will be fixed into the Taurus, will evolve into the 3rd house or Gemini, and will be into the next level where we will connect with it emotionally. So this is the 3rd house. 3rd house is also about your self-efforts, especially with the hands. 3rd house is also the house of your hobbies and your intelligence as well. What is the 9th house? The 9th house is exactly opposite to the 3rd house. 3rd house is the house of your self-effort. You believe in doing something, and in 9th house you believe something. You have inspiration because of your beliefs. 9th house is the house of inspiration, is about the higher ideals, is about the gurus, is about the parents as a whole, like your parents, mother and father collectively can be seen with the 9th house. 9th house is also about the long distance travel. Foreign travels can be seen with the 9th house. When we say bhagya, the fortune is derived from the 9th house of the horoscope. So 9th house is super important when it comes to your horoscope. Now let us move on to what is the effect of Rahu in the 3rd and Ketu in the 9th house. What is Rahu? Rahu is that illusionary, forward-looking planet which is unusual in nature. So when Rahu comes into the 3rd house of the horoscope, it brings in its element of unusual and the futuristic approach to the 3rd house. 3rd house is one of the Upachaya houses. Upachaya literally means one which grows with time. Rahu being malefic does great into the 3rd house. Rahu in the 3rd house I have seen as one of the most auspicious position for Rahu to have. If you have Rahu in the 3rd house, it is going to help you. When a person has Rahu in the 3rd house, it makes person courageous. We have seen Sun in the third house, Mars in the third house, doing great job. Now it's the Rahu. If you have Rahu into the third house of your horoscope, you will have that courageous disposition. You will have that courageous outlook towards the life. Third house is the self-effort. You're courageous. You're ready to do things and change your life. Okay, because it is directly aspecting the 9th house of your bhagya. So your efforts are going to be fruitful. Your efforts are going to increase your bhagya. Whatever you do is going to take you to the next level anyhow. Whatever you do is going to help you in some other way. And this is the strength of this Rahu. This Rahu can create confusion with respect to the siblings. Third house is also the house of siblings, and illusionary Rahu comes into the third house of the horoscope. What it shows is a person with the Rahu in the third house, depending upon the lords of the Rahu and Ketu and their avasthas and aspects and conjunctions and so on. But if they are working on their higher plane, usually they tend to get support from their younger siblings, or they can have a confusion with their younger siblings. You need to check this. But with respect to all other inclinations and significations, communication and media and self-effort thing, Rahu does great job here. Rahu loves to be in the third house. Third house is also the house of your short distance travel. So Rahu makes you travel. Rahu makes you travel because third house is 8th from the 8th. We talked about Rahu in the 8th house, which makes you the wanderer, one who is always traveling. Now third house is 8th from the 8th. So it is the ultimate 8th house. And Rahu is in here. This Rahu makes you travel. Maybe a short distance travel. Usually short distance travel are rewarding for these people. They love to, quickly go on a weekend and come back. Some short distance travel bring the 9th house element into their life. The Rahu in the third house energy needs to be guided in a positive way, because Rahu is an energy which needs to be handled with care. Third house is about communication, but what kind of communication this person is going to make depends upon your values. And what are the values? Values are your 9th house. We'll talk about that later. But this energy, the Rahu in the third house energy, needs to be handled with care. It can go either ways. Okay? Association of the Jupiter always helps the nodes. Now Ketu in the 9th house of the horoscope. What is Ketu? Ketu is where we have strength in the past life, which we have already achieved in the past life. And that is belief. 9th house is the house of the belief. And belief is a huge theme for this balance. The person with the Rahu Ketu in the 3-9 axis has to deal with beliefs. They might grow up in a certain belief system, be it religious or cultural, because it's all about, 9th house is about cultural and inspirational, and 9th house is about your values, wherever you have grown up in. Okay, so this is going to fail. You can be into any religion, you can be into any belief system, but this belief system is going to fail. This belief system is going to fail you. It might work for others, but you will not experience this. And when we believe something, what is believing? Believing is not accepting it as a truth, but accepting as worth trying. Let me give you an example. Do you believe in astrology? No, I test astrology. Do you believe in astrology? Yes, I believe in astrology. And then sometimes there are a few exceptions and I feel like it doesn't work. So don't accept anything as it is. That's what 9th house is all about. When a person believes something, it is his inspiration to accept the thing and test it to his values with his own efforts. And that is the connection between the third house and ninth house. I believe in astrology. If I blindly believe in astrology, I will not test it. I will simply go by the rules, and sometimes there are few exceptions. There are few other rules which we may not know, and that might create a friction, and that might shatter my belief system. Okay, I believe that debilitated planets always give bad results, is what I believe, because it's a debilitation. It is at its low point. But I have no idea about the Nicha-bhanga Rajyoga. I have no idea about the cancellation of the debilitation. And I have just stuck up and I believe that debilitated planets won't work. No. The right way to handle this is, if I read somewhere that debilitated planets won't work, I will test it. I will test it over a few charts. I will read the books. I will apply them on the charts and see the effect. And even then I feel they don't work, then I will say my truth. That brings us closer to the truth. Okay, you will see many different belief systems in life, right? You have to be open towards every belief system. When you have Ketu in the ninth house, never blindly believe anything. Believing is just accepting the thing for testing. If you believe something, it simply means that it is worth your time and energy to test that. Okay, you will hear many belief system and all the different things, and that is the third house. Third house is also the house of your colleagues and associates and team members, right? We all have different views, and when we accept and welcome the opposite views, it helps us evolve. If you firmly believe in something, be it God, be it religion, be it astrology, be it sidereal astrology, be it tropical astrology, be it Vedic astrology, Greek astrology, Persian astrology, numerology, tarot, anything, don't look down upon anything else. Accept the opposite and test it. And even then, if you don't believe, leave it. That is not for you. That is not your truth. And that's what these people have to do. These people have to harmonize between blindly believing something versus applying themselves into certain ideas and evolve themselves. The challenge with this placement of third and ninth axis is harmonizing the intellect with the religion, harmonizing the spirituality with the material things, harmonizing the values versus the third house real application skilled things. And this is not an easy job. For this, you need to look for the lords of this Rahu and Ketu and how they are placed in. You can have Rahu and Ketu, and if their lords are not well placed. Remember, we always talk about Rahu and Ketu as an ascendant and descendant. Ascendant and descendant are not planets, but the ascendant lord is the most important planet in the chart. So the lord of the Rahu, the lord of the Ketu holds the key how this placement is going to work for you. Ketu in the ninth house fails person with respect to his beliefs. If he has rigid belief, it is going to fail him, and he has to go to the third house thing in life. I have seen people with Ketu in the 9th house start their journey as a spiritual person, not spiritual I would say, but a religious person, because their surroundings are religious, and once they grow up they have completely different outlook towards life. I have seen people, those who have disappointed by their parents, have Ketu in the 9th house. 9th house is the house of your parents as a collective. You can look at 9th house as a collective parent signification. And when you have Ketu in the 9th house, it fails. The person with the Ketu in the 9th house always feel that their parents are there with him. But in this lifetime, he has to work towards the self-effort. He has to become that self-made man. That's why he gets a disappointment from his parents. And that's what makes him a self-made man. When you have Ketu in the 9th house of the horoscope, 9th house is about your culture, your religious beliefs, your spiritual practices, rituals, gurus. And when you have Ketu in the 9th house, you are surrounded by the religious people. Your parents will be religious and they will teach you few religious things. But as you grow up, you will test all these beliefs in the real life, at intellectual level, at scientific level, and at all the levels possibly you can. And once you do that, then you will believe in it or won't believe in it. I have seen people who have Rahu in the 3rd house who become totally scientific, and they become the scientific and kind of a atheist. They don't believe in the 9th house things. When they become scientifically or intellectually oriented, they are overemphasizing on the 3rd house of their chart, and they are neglecting the 9th house of their horoscope, which is about the higher beliefs. 9th house is hard to believe. It is the higher belief. There is something beyond you and you have to comprehend it. And it is very difficult to understand anything which is beyond you. You have to be the vibrational match of that to understand those principles. You want to understand the God, you have to go into the bhakti or jnana. Otherwise, you cannot do that. But if they overemphasize onto the 3rd house, they will become atheist or they will become scientifically oriented and will disregard the 9th house. Or if they overemphasized or cling to the Ketu house, they will become believer of anything. They will blindly believe anything. That at the extremes can lead to superstitions as well. Because blind faith is nothing but superstition. Because he is not testing those beliefs, he is blindly believing whatever he has been taught. He is not testing it and he is blindly believing it. That will harm his Ketu house as well. Okay, so yes, this was Rahu in the 3rd house and Ketu in the 9th house, as much as I could hold, grasp and share with you guys. If you're new to my channel, go to my YouTube channel playlist page and start exploring the fascinating world of Vedic astrology. What to watch next? You can start your journey with how to get started into Vedic astrology, or retrogression of the planets, or effects of the rising sign and ascendants. Or if you have any question, you can add me on Instagram at Pramanik Astrology, or you can put your questions into the comment section of the relevant YouTube videos. I read all the comments and I try to reply to almost all the comments. Sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibrations. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.